Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for taking time to join us. We really appreciate you. Uh, this is an end of term for end of the fall update for Lambda Chi Alpha. And we're just really excited to kind of share progress we've made through the fall and then also talk about the spring. So my name is Justin Fisher. I serve as the Chief Operating Officer for Lambda Chi Alpha. And I primarily oversee in my role the forward-facing teams that support existing chapters and then also start new chapters as well. So while we're getting this loaded up, I think we are ready to go. We can also kind of dive into the agenda and then we'll have everyone else kind of introduce themselves. If we want to start with introductions, Katie, if you want to introduce yourself and we can go from there.
Sure, yeah. My name is Katie Kowalski. I am the engagement officer for the Lambda Chi Alpha Educational Foundation, primarily working with our team on annual fundraising, as well as some of our programs, including scholarships and donor impact reporting. So thanks so much for being here.
Sorry, I went out of order. Supposed to go through the agenda first, then we'll do introductions. So that's my apology on that.
It's all right.
So we are talking about this fall, past fall, in terms of things that we've accomplished. Katie's going to give a great update for Founders Days Challenge, and if you don't know what that is, we'll give a brief explanation and kind of some updates from the Educational Foundation. You may not know who our philanthropic partners are. But Noah's going to give an update on that and kind of the progress we made there. And then we're also going to preview what is to come in spring 24. And then there will be a Q&A session at the end as well. This webinar was specifically designed to talk about this fall and this upcoming spring. So you may have a specific question about your son's chapter or more of an overview of some of the things we talk about. Our emails are going to be listed at the end, so please feel free to take those down and contact us if you have any specific questions or if you would want any more detailed information that we may not cover tonight. This is meant to be an overview, but we would love to be able to have the opportunity to engage and answer any questions that you might have. Now we will get to introductions.
Now we will do it. Start with you.
So I introduced myself. I'm Justin. Noah, we can go to you.
Absolutely. My name is Noah Dial. I am the Partnership Engagement Specialist here at Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity. I primarily work with our nonprofit partners, being the American Red Cross in Movember, as well as Feeding America, but also for helping our partnerships with for-profit partners such as SoFi, Rocket Mortgage, and Trust and Will. We are here to support. I am here to support all of these philanthropic and for-profit partners.
And then Jesse, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Can we lose her?
I don't know. Okay. Jesse's great. She serves our Director of Chapter Support and Wellness. Hopefully we'll get her back in here later on. So we can proceed. We'll talk about really just a fall recap of kind of where we are. I really wanted to focus on two items when we talk about the fall recap that aren't going to be covered later on. So one would be our growth goals. So we are you can see over 2,200 associations or new members who have joined Lambda Chi this fall. We are on track to kind of hit our final goal of 3,500 associations this year. And then we have just under 900 initiations. In all likelihood, we probably have had more initiations occur, but this is all based on reporting, and there's a natural lag that happens between when chapters associate new members or initiate new members and then also report them. So our chapter support and wellness team is working diligently with chapters on how to get that reported. That's also essential because let's say your son just got initiated, his member materials in terms of initiation certificate and card will only be ordered and sent after that has been reported. So it's really critical that that information gets sent in. And then the other exciting thing that's happened this fall is Lambda Chi Academy launched. And so if you don't know what Lambda Chi Academy is, that is Lambda Chi Alpha's learning management system. And so this is created based upon research and kind of what we have seen over the past few years with today's student. To summarize it, it is a mix of both online and in-person learning. So really a hybrid approach. A lot of the feedback we got from students after the pandemic first really occurred is that everything is happening online. All my classes are online. I don't want just an online experience. And so this hybrid model was created. If you're not familiar, Ideal Man is our membership development program. And so Lambda Chi Alpha's had many different member development tools or programs over the years of our existence. What is unique about this one, not only in its approach, in that there's an online component, but also an in-person where you have like a cohort in which you kind of go through this with, but it is designed to grow with you. And so there will actually be different programming that people or members go through depending upon their age. And so for the longest time, Lambda Chi Alpha has been really good at focusing on new members, and that leads up to initiation. And then after initiation, you kind of have this standard fraternal experience. But we know that your needs as a student, as a man, change as you get older. And so this program is meant to grow with members, and it really starts with a general focus on who are you, what are your natural strengths and abilities, and then it leads to what maybe leadership opportunities should you pursue, and then it kind of culminates with how do we prepare you for life after college, and things such as how do I articulate my fraternal experience to a non-member or maybe a future employer, things of that nature. So those are components that'll be in that program. So we've had roughly 125 freshmen that have completed, or associate members that have completed Learning Journey 1. There's another 70 or 80 or so that are in progress. So that is really great for our first really semester of launching this. The second is STED Leadership College. This is our officer development program. And so again, that was designed basically to ensure that if you become an officer, which some of your sons may be getting elected now, that if you have no prior knowledge, you would be able to be successful in this role within 6 to 8 weeks. One of the benefits of STED Leadership College is that you have the option to be in a cohort. So let's say you become the treasurer, you could then learn with other treasurers across North America that are going through the same experiences as you, and an opportunity to kind of expand your network beyond maybe the school or chapter that you're in currently. The other thing it does is that we are able to teach our leaders how do they articulate their experience as an officer, so that a future employer can understand that. So like, let's say that your son is the recruitment chairman. Instead of like, we grew the chapter by 45 men, where we recruited 45 men this fall, you could say, they'll be able to say, well, we generated this many leads, we converted them at this rate, we used a recruitment or a sales cycle process that led us to increase chapter size by X%. But we really wanted men to be able to walk away from their time as officers and be able to say and prove that I've gained these skills, and that is shown by these results as a result of my experience as an officer in Lambda Chi Alpha. And so that program has two different components as well. There's a leadership ready, which is like let's use like a gen ed type feel. There's leadership content in there. It's a lot of soft skills. So maybe it's stakeholder management, maybe conflict management. Those are the types of things that students learn so that all leaders would benefit from. And then there's more role ready specific, like I'm going to be the treasurer. There are certain things about budgeting and cash flow that I need to understand. That'll be contained within those programs. So all in all, we have about 100 men either in the leadership ready or specific role ready courses. So again, really strong start to the launch, and we're really excited about that. So I will transition to Katie, and she'll give you some updates on the foundation.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Thanks again for joining and again for bearing with us on the Zoom issues. And we've got Jessie here now as well. Thanks, Jessie. She was stuck backstage for a minute. So the foundation really supports all of these programs that Justin just talked about. And invest in them. And a lot of these programs are new to our member experience, and we don't require them. So that's something that we want to make sure that our members opt in and appreciate the opportunity to to benefit from those programs. And they're all provided at no cost thanks to donors to the Educational Foundation. So in our role, we're a partner to the fraternity, and we want to make sure that we're providing added value and offsetting all the costs that go into school and dues and all of that. So we really try to fund 100% of the educational cost of these programs, and our donors come through for us every year. So we recently hosted our Founders Day Challenge. You may have heard about it or may have even donated, and thank you to those who did. We engaged over 2,000 donors. That includes our alumni, our undergraduate brothers, and family and friends. And we raised $850,000 towards our $1 million goal. And it's no small feat because we did it in a very short window, around 32 hours, getting folks signed on and giving back. So we're really proud of that. We still got till the end of the year to hit our $1 million goal. And again, that's going to help us make sure that all of these programs are fully funded at no additional cost to our members and without raising dues. We're really proud of not having raised our dues since I can't remember how long it's been now since we've had to raise them. It's been a couple years.
2018.
Yep. Okay. So thanks for that. So I always said the programs that we provide through the foundation as well are academic and study abroad scholarships. The study abroad scholarship's a new one. We gave $10,000, 1,000 scholarship awards at $1,000 in our inaugural year for offering that. As I said, Lambda Chi Academy is supported by this, again, at no cost. Any member, any officer can access that program through Lambda Online. If you don't know what Lambda Online is, we'll make sure we talk about that later. And then we've got conferences for our chapter officers and advisors. We're hosting one here in January. And also our general chapter support and wellness program. We support the folks that are here at the Office of Administration that are working with our chapters, making sure that they have tools that they need to be successful. And then we also have, born out of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have the Anchor Fund program, which provides emergency aid grants for international disasters. So chapters that maybe are affected by, a flood in their area or some other occurring disaster, we have donors that have given, and we're able to provide grants to support basic needs. So with that, I want to talk about the fact that scholarship applications open in January. You can visit that website, apply.lambdachifoundation.org, to learn more. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to contact me. And our merit and need-based awards are available. Some chapters have their own. We have some national programs too. So lots of opportunities to get additional support for our members. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Noah.
Thank you so much, Katie. So the biggest things that I do on a day-to-day basis are working with chapters to help schedule blood drives. And especially during the month of November, I worked very heavily with a variety of chapters to fundraise for men's health. For those that do not know, Movember is a philanthropy that originally started in Australia and has now went global, where the simplest matter of it was really just growing a mustache in support of a friend that had prostate cancer. And eventually Movember expanded into prostate cancer, the most common cancer in older men, as well as testicular cancer, the most common cancer in younger men, as well as men's mental health and suicide prevention. Movember has actually developed scans that allow for earlier detection, or their donations have helped for earlier detection in prostate cancer for men, as well as a lot of other youth programs and things to keep mental health in a Lost my words. The biggest, they are able to have a variety of groups and activities that they are able to fundraise and support because of the amount of money raised for Movember. The biggest thing though, when it comes to the Red Cross, is our 571 units of blood. Each unit of blood equates to about 3 lives, which means that we have reached to 1,713 lives this semester due to the efforts of 13 blood drives, as well as donating through our Lambda Chi Alpha blood link, which anyone can participate in through our alumni network. If you are looking for this link and you are a frequent blood donor and would like to support Lambda Chi Alpha, please be in my email by the end of the, or at the end of the presentation, and I can get you connected with that. As anybody, whether they are a brother or just a parent or a friend of the chapter, can support our blood initiative that way. Special shout out goes to the brothers at Baldwin Wallace University who hosted 2 blood drives this semester. They did an excellent job and raised enough to save somewhere around 440 lives total. Very excellent work, and I am hoping that more chapters adopt this as we go on. I encourage you to speak to your member about whether they have hosted a blood drive or if they would be interested in doing one in the future, as it is not a super heavy thing to organize. Normally, it just requires them locating a space on their university or using the chapter house and hosting the blood drive for the American Red Cross. And they will bring in all the equipment, all the people they need. All that is required of the brothers at the chapter is to find eligible donors and get a space. In regards to Movember, we, as of today, have raised $86,554, which is a exceptional amount. Last year we raised around 90,000, but the current deadline for donations is December 11th. So there still may be some more chapters that are able to come in and donate to this cause. I've heard of a couple that are outstanding that may be added to this total. We are the #1 fundraising fraternity for Movember amongst all the Greek network, which is a huge thing we are proud of, as well as our comparison to the other organizations that support Movember. In comparison to businesses, the only businesses that beat us are Cox Enterprises and Lamborghini. This includes us beating out organizations such as Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Johnson & Johnson, as well as PepsiCo. A variety of large organizations that fundraise for Movember, we have done more for as a student body, which is amazing. And compared to the University Challenge, which is called Big Mo on campus, the only university that has done better than our fraternity network is Syracuse University, who has raised over $100,000 for men's health. Really, just a lot of great efforts have been done for Movember. Chapters have events where they will show their mustaches they have grown for the month in support of men's mental health, and they will promote these conversations when people ask, why do you have a mustache? Especially when the mustache is not often as full or as good looking as some may like. It is a great way to start conversations about mental health and prostate and testicular cancer and spread the message of what Movember is really about. We had a lot of fun in the office recently, all growing mustaches and promoting this cause as well with our members.
I got a lot of thank yous for shaving on December 1st.
Justin actually did a variety of expansion presentations for future chapters with the mustache, which was a great segue into talking about our message, our mission as a chapter. So special thank you to Justin.
Definitely. All right, so looking ahead to the spring and some things that we have going on. So Katie mentioned that we have a conference coming up in January. That is called the High Alpha Summit at Neville Advisors College. High Alpha is our term for chapter president. If your son has not told you this, but we use Greek letter terms for everything, and it makes it more confusing for people when they're learning about the organization. Sarcasm aside, we are really excited about this event. It's designed specifically for chapter presidents and their advisors. You may not know this, and it's noted below, but roughly 80% of our chapters do elections in calendar year. So that means that as of right now, 80% of our 170 or so chapters have new presidents. And so that is a very exciting time. But this is also really important for us in terms of how can we help them get started on the right foot? What programming and what support and training can we provide that will help them? So this whole conference is designed to help them be successful in their role and how they can best utilize some of the other programming and resources that are available in an effort to be successful. One thing that is new this year is that there will be a live in-person simulation. So it looks like a giant board game, but they are given specific scenarios and decisions they have to make. Each decision, like in life, comes with consequences, both positive and negative, and they have to navigate this in an effort to kind of achieve success as a group. And so the goal of this is that we are able to provide them an environment in which they're able to learn and actually make decisions in real time, but don't actually have any actual consequences at the time. So hopefully that they can rely on this experience and this simulation to kind of help them later on. So we're really excited for that. As excited as people can be to be in Indianapolis in January. Although a lot of our brothers from California appreciate being able to see snow, and they love that. So Lambda Chi Academy will continue to be a point of emphasis. So like I said, with that turnover in chapter officers, this is a great time that we want to introduce the support and training that the fraternity offers to those new officers and help them so they don't feel lost or confused if they have questions or things that can be answered. We want to be there to help them as much as possible. So from a marketing standpoint and from the amount of support that we provide, that'll be an area of focus for this spring. And then this July, looking ahead, will be our 60th General Assembly in Scottsdale, Arizona. So General Assembly is our legislative body. So it meets every 2 years. Students, alumni have the ability to vote on the laws of the fraternity, make any changes that they see fit. One of the unique things about Lambda Chi Alpha is that we are truly a student-run organization in the fact that students control 75% of the vote. So they really are able to say, hey, we make these decisions and we can change the laws of the organization. There will also be an educational component on chapter operations and some chapter administration training as well will be offered, but we're really excited. The other part of General Assembly is that a lot of alumni will attend. It has a reunion type feel, and I think it's helpful. I know when I attended as a student, it was helpful for me to see that Lambda Chi Alpha was more than just my chapter on my campus, but I was able to meet brothers from all over the United States. I met brothers from Canada. You meet alumni from all different professions, and it was a really immersive and rewarding experience. And so definitely if your son or someone that you know has the opportunity to attend General Assembly, I would encourage them to pursue that. And now I think it's time that we move into Q&A. So you have questions about anything that was shared. If there are any other questions that you would like to ask, I'd be happy to answer those as well.
And y'all should be able to type into the Q&A section, and I'll be able to monitor that. Additionally, if I don't know if you can come off mute, but if you feel more comfortable coming off mute, please do that. So our first question is, what are the biggest challenges you face as a national organization? I can start with that, and then I'll probably kick it to you, Justin. I would say truly one of the biggest threats to fraternity right now is our history and the things that have happened in fraternities nationwide. We fall under the same insurance policies as our peers at other organizations. So even if Lambda Chi decides to do things differently, really push the transferable skills and work towards creating a really healthy co-curricular experience, we are influenced by the other organizations on our campuses. We are also influenced by the cultures on our campuses. And so we're constantly working to help shift culture in the places that we exist, which is really hard for 18 to 22-year-olds to be responsible for. Justin, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think besides working with men 18 to 22, I think that inherently brings some challenges along. Historically and currently, we are coupled to higher education. And so we are seeing a lot of enrollment shifts, particularly at some of our like regional state schools. Like you're talking about maybe a 30 or 40% or more decrease in male enrollment. From 2015 to today, there are over 1 million less men enrolled in four-year institutions. So obviously, as a men's fraternity, if there are less men going to college, and that's where we're located, that provides additional challenges. I think we're seeing, as a society, less men are going to school. Less people have faith in the ability for four-year institutions to prepare you for your career. I think at the last research we saw that 11% of C-suite executives and I think 13% of U.S. adults believe that college graduates today are career ready. I think we're seeing that when we look at employers and what they ask for. It's like, I don't really care about your degree, I care about your skills. And so higher education is in this shift, and we are trying to shift with that, and how, a lot of the investments and decisions we made and a lot of the money that our donors were able to give has gone into programming to ensure that we're trying to prepare men as much as possible for life after school, that they are gaining skills, that they're gaining experiences. But I think we are in a very turbulent time in terms of where higher education is and kind of where we're shifting as an industry.
Erica raised her hand. I'm gonna let her speak, I think. If I could find her. There you go.
Hi, I must have hit the hand by accident. I'm sorry, but I do have a question regarding the scholarships. So the on I think the very first slide you had something along with study abroad scholarships. Are those the scholarships that start accepting applications in January?
Yes, so we'll try to open everything up then. That particular program I know was launched later last year only because it was new. So I will confirm with the donor to that program that he wants it to be along the schedule that we have set. But all the other programs will be for sure open in January. That's a great question. We're really excited about being able to offer that program, and I've seen a lot of good come from that.
Excellent. I think that's really cool. Having been a study abroad student myself and have a son who's interested in it, I think that's awesome. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
And we have two questions that kind of go together, and I'm getting a link ready to send to both of you. But Sandra and Lori asked next to each other. My son is a secretary at WPI, so would he be eligible for the training course? All of our members are eligible to enroll in STED Leadership College if they're interested in completing the course. Now, the courses are not built specifically for Gamma. So I am sending a link for how they would request access. And our goal is to have members who want to complete it. So if a member is interested in Lambda Chi Academy, we want to see them engage in that programming from Ideal Man to STED Leadership College. And we can provide access upon request. So that should answer that. And I've responded to both of you with a link that they should be able to access. And I can put that in the chat as well. Well, yes, what are the current yearly costs associated with being in the fraternity? Justin, do you mind doing that breakdown real quick?
Yeah, so I think this is also a question we get frequently from students. And so we have organizational dues and fees. And so those would be like an $88 per man member due. That's for every semester or twice a year, even if you're in a quarter school. And then we have a risk management assessment. So that is by each chapter, they have the ability through their past conduct, and then some other factors to either earn debits or credits on that. That is assessed every semester as well. And then there is a base chapter fee, so each chapter is charged $890 as well as a fee per semester. And then there are new member fees. So there's an associate member fee and then an initiation fee. I believe the associate member fee is $112, and then the initiation fee is I think it's $230, $240, somewhere in there. But those are one-time fees. So when you join, you pay those once, and then you pay the $88. Now, where this gets challenging is that then chapters are set their own dues. So we have chapters that charge upwards of $2,000 a semester, and that may include meal plan, that may include part of their housing, it may not. But they are in charge of creating their own operational budget and what those costs are. And the dues and fees are established either through the board or that authority is given them by the General Assembly. So that voting body has decided this is what they will be. I would say we've been really intentional. So we are the only fraternity that has not raised our dues and fees since 2018. That has been a directive from our board of directors that they do not want to increase the cost on the students. And so to kind of supplement that, we as an organization have ensured that we are being as precise as possible with our expenses. And then also the generosity of our donors and the Educational Foundation has really helped us also supplement the loss of revenue would be from raising the fees.
I can say we're one of, I think, the only fraternal groups, one of very few that fund 100% of the educational costs associated with all the programs. So of course, because of the IRS and being a 501c3 nonprofit organization, we have some rules we have to follow on what we can support. But we do a great job of partnering and making sure that we're maximizing what we can fund. So that we're providing as much support to the fraternity to offset those costs, not pass them on to the student. We're very intentional about that.
And thank you. And then how can my son apply for Learning Journey 1? All associate members, so as soon as you join Lambda Chi and are reported on our roster, you're automatically enrolled into Learning Journey 1. Now I'm going to provide my email in the chat. And if for some reason your son does not have access through Lambda Online, we will make sure that he gets access as soon as possible. So I'll also put it in the chat. But all members there they are. All members automatically have access to Learning Journey 1 as soon as they are inputted into our system. Graduates get any help in networking and getting a lead for the co-op, internship, and work opportunities. What are some examples?
Yeah, I think that's something right now that is really chapter centric in terms of I think some chapters do a great job of inviting alums back in. They may speak with specific industries or things of that nature. I would say this is a goal of the organization long-term to ensure that this happens. I mean, I think one of the cliche, pitches in recruitment for joining a fraternity is oh, the network. I mean, same thing for most schools about we have this vast alumni network. We have 238,000 living alumni, and I think there are so many opportunities for us to pursue that. And even not just recent graduates or people who are graduating next year, but it would be great if you're in your mid-30s or you're in the middle of your career to have someone to talk to that's 5 or 10 years in front of you, right? That can tell you oh, here are opportunities you should pursue. Here are people you should meet. So that's definitely something that we want to pursue. There's a for-profit entity that Lambda Chi has invested in, but one of the end goals of that entity is to create this connection machine. And so we have brothers all over the world. They move, people get new jobs. It'd be really amazing, right? If I'm 36, I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. And it'd be really great, right, to be able to meet, if I move to another city and meet other Lambda Chis that are in the similar life stage. Maybe they could help us how do we get plugged into the community, how do we do these things? But that is the end goal, is that we're able to connect brothers together personally, professionally. I think, so that is something that we are pursuing and will be investing time and resources in the future.
I would say anecdotally, that's also something a chapter support specialist can often help with. So if your son's interested in getting connected with folks, we have built some relationships at the office administration that we can help facilitate. I know I've had students reach out to me and I've connected them with my fiance, who's also a Lambda Chi and works in the finance industry, and he has connected them with internships. And so as we build relationships with students through the chapter support model, we also want to facilitate those connections where we can. And our alums love connecting to undergrads. So if your son reaches out to their chapter support specialist, or your member reaches out to their chapter support specialist, we can help facilitate a lot of those pieces.
I will say too, to piggyback on what Jesse and Justice said, I know this is something that our alumni are looking for the opportunity to give back, and not everyone can be an advisor or or serve in some other kind of official capacity. And so we really are looking to invest in this area. But I will say Lambda Chi Alpha has a really robust LinkedIn presence. There's a group out there that they can join. And also, if they have a LinkedIn profile, they can also search for other people that maybe follow Lambda Chi, or, look for folks that they could be connected to in some way. And so there's a way to kind of have some organic things too. But every chapter has a sort of an alumni relations officer that can also help facilitate some of that and make sure that it's happening at the local level. And oftentimes that's where the connection's already going to be the strongest. So if that's something that members are really craving, I think it's a really great opportunity to go back to the chapter and say, hey, why don't we bring some folks in, or why don't we do a meet and greet with some alumni that want to come talk to us about job searching or the market today, and could be a really good opportunity for just some organic involvement and connection.
Yeah, and if your son, I mean, to kind of go off what Jesse said, if your son is like looking for people to talk to or doesn't know where to, I mean, we're happy to help. I don't know if we will know anyone, but we may know someone who will be able to connect them with someone they're after. I mean, to be honest, I've been in this role for 5 years. No one has reached out to me ever and asked me for like advice, or can you connect? Do you know someone who works in Big Four public accounting, right? No, it just doesn't happen. We're happy to help though, if we do get asked.
And that kind of ties into the question, how is Lambda Chi Alpha helping with job search for members? Again, that is not something that we currently have infrastructure that we are 100% promoting right now. It's very chapter specific. And at the same time, if your son reaches out to me and says, I'm looking for something in this field, I am happy to find, or someone on my team is happy to find someone that we can connect in the alumni world. Right now, it's very ad hoc, case by case basis, but we want to be that connection point. If that's how we can support your son as he enters the alumni world, we are more than happy to do that. And is the training something they can add to their resume? Absolutely. So one of the reasons, I know Justin talked a little bit about the gap Lambda Chi Academy, especially Stud Leadership College, was aiming to fill, as far as like illustrating to employers that our members were equipped and had transferable skills for whatever industry they enter. I would share with you that this virtual badge that they receive from completing the training, and the ability to put the skills, the recruiting and sales certificate or the leading team certificate on their resume, on their LinkedIn, should be a value add as employers are looking to hire. And so our hope is that they are absolutely putting this on their resume and illustrating the skills they gained from the trainings they completed. Are there any ground rules to treat each other with respect, especially as they relate to hazing concerns and promoting diversity and inclusivity? Absolutely. We, Lambda Chi, abolished hazing in about over 50 years ago. And we are really proud that we do not have we no longer have pledging. Our associate members are entitled to all equal membership. And so all privileges and obligations of membership, whether that be voting in elections or voting on decisions in the chapter, or whether that be running for office. The only thing associate members don't have access to until they're initiated is the initiation ritual. Everything else, our associate members are fully formed members of the fraternity outside of knowing that ritual. And so one of the things that we are not naive to is that some of our chapters may not be following each and every single one of those expectations and policies, and we want to be made aware so we can help them shift their behavior and change the way they're operating and really make it an educational opportunity. We've had chapters come to us before and share, hey, this is a tradition in my chapter that I know isn't within policy. How can I shift that? And that is something our chapter support and wellness team is equipped to help them do, and we'll focus on helping them do in an educational way, so we can avoid the punitive side of that, which could result in something even more negative. So if you're hearing about something that your son is experiencing in the hazing realm that sounds not right, please feel free to reach out to us. We can have you remain anonymous if that makes you feel more comfortable, but we're happy to address that and to learn more about that. As far as diversity and inclusivity, again, equal membership is a pillar of the organization. We also have mandatory resolutions in our Constitution and Statutory Code centering around diversity, equity, and inclusion of our membership and non-discrimination. And so, again, if there's anything happening in a chapter that you hear about or you have any concerns, we want to hear from you so that we can address that behavior within the chapter and really support our men and learning and growing through that. Ideal Man does have some focus on diversity and inclusion to help educate our members who maybe have never had that education or had an opportunity to learn about ways to be inclusive before. Anyone else have anything to add on the hazing or DEI piece?
No, I would just reiterate that like associate membership is not just our word for pledge. Like it is deeply important to the organization. At the time in like the early 70s, it was very controversial, and it is very important that like from day one, the moment that you say I want to be a member, that you have all the rights and responsibilities. And that's something that we still share publicly. It is embedded into Ideal Man as a program, as well as the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So that we actually have a B on the end of that. So, but that is the terminology that we use, and that's something that we strive and focus on.
Will I be able to access this webinar later? I know we are recording.
Yes, we will. So we will actually put it on YouTube, and we'll share it with everyone that was invited to attend. So everyone will get an email back with a link to the recording.
And is there any network specifically established to help members get interested in their field of study? I know we kind of answered this before, but again, I will reiterate, if we can help, we will. So please reach out if we can be helpful, or please have your son reach out if we can be helpful.
Sandra asked about the slide deck. We'll also include that. And we also have a parent resources page. Jesse, if you're able to find that and throw it in the chat, it's a really great collection of links and information. We're trying to make sure we have kind of a one-stop place for parents, guardians, of family to understand kind of all the resources and tools that are available to you as well. So we'll make sure that gets put back out there.
And I just put that in the chat, which is separate from the Q&A. So if you're in the Q&A screen, it is in the chat, which is at the bottom of your screen. That's where I've been dropping resources to make sure that it doesn't get cleared when I answer the question. Do you have any statistics on number of members you have helped with job search and placement? It'd be good to know. We do not. Again, this is not something that we have formalized quite yet, but that is in the pipeline of something we want to do.
But a great idea for something that we should track to ensure the success of our program. So thank you.
Is there a link for Ideal Man program, and can a junior do that, or is it too late? Absolutely. So I will again put in the chat the access to Lambda Online, but your member would access their Lambda Online account, which is our online it's an app, and it's also a website for all Lambda Chi Alpha members where they can access our programming and resources associated with their membership. And Ideal Man is in there, and any member can complete that. So I will drop that in the chat in 1 second. What is the badge you were talking about for sales? Justin, do you mind talking about the recruiting and sales while I look for this?
What was the question?
Can you talk about the badge for sales?
Oh, okay, yeah. So historically, fraternity recruitment is like rush focused. So for a week, there's like events, people come to the house or they come on campus, and then that's where we do recruitment, and then we don't worry about it for the next year or the next semester. We have shifted that. We want to treat recruitment of members like a sales job. And so historically, the recruitment chairman's been the best recruiter. Well, we want you to be a sales manager, which is a different skill set. And so this program will outlay several different things. But we talk about a recruitment cycle, which is similar to a sales cycle. We talk about consultative sales. So like 20 years ago, if you were being recruited into Lambda Chi, someone would probably just like word vomit a bunch of different facts and things about Lambda Chi and why you should join, and then ask you to join. But now we're training men on like, let's ask questions of people that we meet, friends that we may have, of like, what do they want to get out of their college experience? Where do they want to be in 5 or 10 years? What are things that are important to them? And then through that process, we're able to then to say, okay, well, this is how Lambda Chi Alpha can like fit into that, and then potentially ask them to join later on. And then we also talk about the quantitative metrics behind recruitment. So statistically speaking, 1 out of every 10 leads will join a fraternity. So if you want to grow your chapter by 15, you need to have 150 names on your list. Well, most chapters are like, I want to have 15 people join, but I'm talking to 40, so I feel like our odds are really good. And there could be like a statistical outlier where like your conversion rate is super high, but that also may not be true. But all these things, those 3 concepts will help them become a really effective and efficient recruiting chapter. But then it also translates to to sales skills. So you can then take that to a future employer and then explain to them, I used a professional sales process, generated these results. We have a recruitment CRM, right? So they track the different interactions with different potential new members. They're able to kind of rate them in terms of like, this person's really interested. We haven't contacted this person. I need to follow up with them in like 6 days or 6 weeks or whatever it may be. And so we've really tried to professionalize and simplify what recruitment can be and should be, and make that a natural transition to a sales role.
And then is Lambda Chi Academy self-paced? If not, how long does it take? So yes, and so we have our cohort model. So if student wants to do it in our cohort model for the Said Leadership College, which is the tracks for specific, exactly what Justin was just talking about, for specific skill sets. There is a pacing model where they can meet in cohorts and discuss the content on a week, like bi-weekly basis, I believe it is. And so that cadence slows down, I think, how long it takes. It's about, I want to say 5 to 10 hours, depending on how long you take on every single activity and how much time you put into it. And so that makes that longer. I would say it makes it more like of a 10 to 20 hour process. But if you just go in and if your member just wants to go in and complete the Lambda Chi Academy Said Leadership College piece, that probably takes them around 8 to 10 hours total. For Ideal Man, it's way less. I would say the first, and I'm trying to remember exactly how long it took me, but I would say it's about 2 to 5 hours per journey. And right now we just have the first journey out. So about 2 to 5 hours. Again, and they can go back and revisit lessons. So some may get it done pretty quickly, but then go back and visit. I want to redo a value proposition because that was really helpful to me and I need a refresher. Or I want to revisit how I lead this team in like motivating them to accomplish a goal. I'm going to go revisit that, or our resilience module. So the modules stay available to them once they've completed them so that they can revisit if they want to revisit the content or the resources. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Our emails are up here. Please do reach out if you have any questions or want to engage. We always want to make you feel as comfortable as you can with trusting us with probably one of the most important people, if not the most important person in your life. And so we thank you for, again, trusting us with your member, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.